Alrighty, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again here to give you guys a live stream going over the tornado warning we have in place right now. I'm getting this live on YouTube and on Facebook at this point here. So we're going to talk to you guys about this tornado warning at this point. So we're going to go ahead and zoom this down. This is just to the south of Mount Ida, just to the east of Norman, going right for downtown Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton, and the Lonsdale area here. So this is going to be a tornado warning that is going to be in place at this current time until 6:45 this evening here. And this storm is moving off to the east at about 60 miles per hour here. So you can definitely see, we've been tracking the storm for the last couple of minutes here as it was going just south of Mount Ida, producing that golf ball sized hail. And we've been watching the area of rotation, trying to get going. And we finally have our first tornado warning of the day here. So to repeat, we do have a tornado warning in place at this current time. And this does go for downtown Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton, also Hot Springs Village, and Mount Pine. So if you know anyone in this area, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls for unit outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. So tornado warning for Garland County, for West Central Saline, southeastern Montgomery County, and northeastern Hot Springs County. It's going to go until 6:45 this evening. At this point, this storm is moving to the east at 60 miles per hour, has a history producing 2-inch hail, and now has the potential of producing a tornado. And boy, if you take a look at this, there's your area of rotation as clear as day. It's just southeast of Mount Ida, just to the west of Hot Springs, just north and east of Glenwood at this point, and it's moving into Garland County. So if you know the one in this area, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to unit outside as possible, get to the lowest area of your home immediately here. So we're going to put a track on this storm. We're going to take it about 60 miles per hour to the east, and we're going to get that up for you guys. So it's going to be pining within, I'd say, around that 6:15, 6:18 time frame. Keep an eye on that. Like I said before, radar may be kind of giving you guys a little bit of a later start than it actually does, especially if this storm starts to speed up. 6:20 for Lake Hamilton. So Lake Hamilton, it's about to be 6 o'clock. You have 20 minutes. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Downtown Hot Springs, you have 20 minutes to get into your safe place immediately at this current time. Same thing goes for Traskwood. Same thing goes for Haskell. Same thing goes for Benton. Benton, you guys over there, you have about 30 to 40 minutes. However, you still need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Don't waste time. Don't wait for it to come to you. Use this ample time right now to seek shelter immediately at this point. So let's go ahead and zoom this out, kind of show you guys a little bit what's going on at this point. And this is also going to go for our areas along Interstate 30 as well, between Arkadelphia and the Metro. Is going to go right from Malvern into Benton area. So if you know anyone in these areas, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. The same thing goes for those that are going to be in the Hot Springs area at this current time. So Garland County, you definitely need to be taking your tornado precautions. I mean, and you can definitely see, without even having any kind of rotation products on here right now, you can definitely see where the tornado is potentially being. It's going to be where this info notch is, and then you have this on the back side. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Get away from windows, put as many walls to unit outside as possible, and get to the lowest area of your home immediately at this point. So I do believe our chief forecaster, Derek, is about to be in. Let me go unlock our weather center door real quick. And, okay, we're good. So he'll be here in just a little bit. But as I said before, we're going to keep you guys updated on that, just making sure he was able to get in to the door here. So that's what we get at this point. There's tornado warning at this time. It's south of Highway 270 at this time. And you can definitely see, if you're on the north side of this storm, you're going to be getting easily 2-inch plus hail. We've been talking about that all day, that you're going to run that risk for seeing those high-end hail reports with this. And this is the newest scan, and you can definitely see now, this is right there on 270. There's your hail report right here. And then where this hook is at the bottom side of the storm, that is where your tornado potential is going to be at this current time. So this is going straight for downtown Hot Springs, just to the north of Lake Hamilton. But Lake Hamilton, I wouldn't even consider myself safe. I'd go ahead and take those tornado precautions just to be on the safe side. Hot Springs Village, you are on the north side of this storm. Still take your tornado precautions, but I would not travel because the hail core of this storm is going to go right for Mount Pine and also Hot Springs Village. So don't waste any time, folks. You need to be getting into shelter immediately. Also, this is going to go for Lake Hamilton and then the Lonsdale area, and it's going to make its way towards Interstate 30. And as I mentioned before, Traskwood, Benton, any interest along I-30 between Malvern and the Metro, you need to be watching this storm closely. It is in an environment that it can produce tornadoes today, along with the potential of seeing very large hail as well. So we're going to continue to monitor this at this point. Kind of zoom this out, show you guys like a statewide view of what's going on. We got a flash warning over there in west central Arkansas. The rest of these storms have been struggling. There's what we call a surface inversion in place, and it's kind of kept these storms at bay. However, this one is an exception because it was able to kind of get past that inversion and it was able to go toward. So that's what we got at this point. But to kind of give you guys like a statewide view on what's going on elsewhere across the state, we're sitting pretty good right now. But for our folks over here in Garland County, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. Like I said before, don't wait for the storm to come to you. Don't wait for any confirmation or anything like that. If you're under a tornado warning, you need to be seeking shelter immediately at this point. So what I'm going to do for just a second is I'm going to go ahead and get our Twitter up real fast, and I'm going to double check and see if we have any reports coming into the Weather Center at this point. But I know we're definitely watching this system coming in at this time here. So maybe for just a second, and we're going to get you guys the information here. So right now, I'm not hearing any reports of this thing being on the ground. I'm double checking that right now. Sirens are going off in Hot Springs right now. Like I mentioned before, if you are in this area, you need to be seeking shelter immediately, especially if you're in downtown Hot Springs. If you're in this area, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So luckily right now, I'm not seeing any reports that think that this is on the ground. That's awesome news, but that doesn't mean squat. You have a tornado warning in place. It is capable of producing a tornado at any given moment. Don't wait for it to touch down. Be proactive and take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. So let's go ahead and zoom this down. And as I mentioned before, it's going to be right there on 270. You're going to have to watch that closely if you know anybody on 270 for not only the potential of a tornado, but also the potential of 2-inch plus in diameter hail, especially in that north side of the storm where you're seeing those purples and those blacks, that light blue kind of indicative right there. You can definitely see it with this one. That's where they're going to have that potential of seeing a tornado at this point. And there's our chief forecaster, Derek. He just got into the Weather Center at this point. Feel free to turn that computer screen around. And like I said before, if you hear any reports, let me know immediately. But we have a tornado warning in place right now. It's going to go for Hot Springs at this point. This one's going to go just, I would say right now, right over downtown Hot Springs. And it's going to go north of Lake Hamilton, going towards Lonsdale, and I would say that Mount Pine, Hot Springs Village area, you need to be still taking your tornado precautions immediately, but I would not get out because you will have the risk of seeing a 2-inch plus in diameter hail at this current time here. So, what you got for me?
Just give me a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're still trying to get settled in over there. All right. So as I said before, we double check everything at this point, and let me see here. I'm gonna zoom this out and show you guys what's going on here. So we're gonna take a look at our rotation indicator at this time, and this one is right here on the elevation areas over here on 270. It's just to the west of Hot Springs at this point. So what I'm going to do for just a minute here is I'm going to tilt the radar and kind of take a look at this to kind of get a visual of this thing just above the elevation over here. And you can see it right here. This is just south of 270 at this point, where your green and red kind of combine as one. That's where you have the potential of seeing a tornado here. So that's going to go right for downtown Hot Springs. I mean, you cannot get any closer to where you are right now if you're in Hot Springs or the Piney area or in Lake Hamilton. If you know anybody, I mean anyone in this area that is either traveling, that lives here, that's at work, doing anything, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately. Also, I do realize we have a lot of state tournaments going on. We have a lot of sporting events going on right now. I think it's still a little bit early. I think it may start about 7, 8 o'clock for most. But if you know anyone that is participating in those events, make sure they are seeking shelter immediately at this current time here. So you can definitely see where that area of rotation is going to be. And I'm going to put it right here. Give me 1 second. We'll get our roads up here just a minute. And it's going to be right here, I believe. Let me see if I can get this to work on my side. There it is. Okay, so that's going to be Highway 227 right over here, which is just south of 270 at this point. So that's going to go straight for Piney. It's going to go straight for Hot Springs Village here. So if you know any one of these areas, they need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately at this current time here. So bear with me for just a bit. We'll switch this over so you guys get a visual on what we're looking at here. Okay, so there it is right here. Let me see if I can go do here, do that. There we are. All right, so the area flotation is going to be right there on Cattlegate Road, right here, Percy Road as well. This is just southwest of 227. I mean, it's just outside of the highway. So if you know the one on 227, they also need to be taking their tornado precautions immediately here. But this is going to go right for Piney, definitely downtown Hot Springs. And no matter where you are in Hot Springs at this point, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. Don't wait for it to be confirmed or anything like that. You need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately at this point. And this is also going to make a run for the Lake Hamilton. Should stay just to the north of Lake Hamilton, but Lake Hamilton, I wouldn't risk it. I'd still go ahead and seek shelter immediately. And in the Lonsdale area, I would definitely watch it closely. And then for my folks on Interstate 30, that is going to be the Haskell area. That's Benton. That's also Traskwood, also Rockport, along Interstate 30 right now. There's a lot of people that are going to be traveling, trying to get home from work, etc., or even trying to go to work or trying to go to those sporting events and stuff like that. As I mentioned, we got a lot of state tournaments going on right now. Make sure that you're seeking shelter immediately. There's a lot of gas stations. There's a Love's that you can find, especially near the Benton area. Make sure you take your tornado precautions immediately, folks. If you're out traveling, you need to find a substantial place to seek shelter. I cannot stress that enough at this point. But downtown Hot Springs, it's going to be 622. It's about 6:07 right now, so you have 10 to 15 minutes. You need to be seeking shelter immediately. Don't wait for it to get confirmed. Seek shelter immediately at this point. Lonsdale, you have roughly, if you're at 622 at Hot Springs, I put you about almost 6:30, 6:35, 6:40 in the Lonsdale area. Use this time now while it's quiet to get to shelter. Haskell, Benton, Traskwood. I'm gonna put you guys about 6:40-ish, 6:50 over there, getting close to the top of the hour. Take this time now. Don't wait for it to come to you. Don't wait for it to be on the ground or anything like that. Take your tornado precautions immediately at this point. Derek, if you're settled in, I'm going to let you go over there. Okay.
All right, everybody. So once again, as Cameron has been talking about, let's go on and zoom in on our street view here because this is moving into a very highly populated area.
Big time.
Hot Springs. Once again, this is your warning. You need to be in the lowest of your house, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Be concerned with this that it is rooting on that warm front.
Yep.
Like we had mentioned, this front is going to be the key player when it comes to severe weather tonight and again tomorrow. And again, this is the situation that we are concerned about. Unfortunately, this is tracking east. There's nothing to impede it to its south. Cameron and I were talking about this today, is that we've not seen a lot of rainfall today like was expected.
Yeah.
And to the south of this front is where the atmosphere slowly becoming more conducive for severe weather. And unfortunately now with this rooted on the front as it moves east, it's going to move into a highly populated area. Hot Springs, on down the line, Lonsdale, Haskell, Benton, Bryant. The south side of the metro is even a risk of this storm as well.
Yep.
If the warm front starts to shift north again, then that storm is going to follow that front, which would put more of the metro at play with this storm. So again, we're going to have to watch this storm really over the next several hours
Yeah,
as
definitely.
it moves east into a very favorable environment across much of central and south Arkansas this evening. But once again, if you live along Highway 270,
yeah, that's 270 right there.
If you live
Highway
in downtown
70,
Hot Springs,
yeah.
you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. Another myth with tornadic storms: mountains block those. That is not the case.
No.
Mountains do not block tornadoes. We've seen this time and time again in the Ozarks. We've seen it in the Watchtower. We've seen tornadoes go right up and down mountains like they don't even exist. And that's a situation that we're going to have to watch for with this storm. Again, if you live on the northern end of this storm, Mountain Pine, Hot Springs Village, you're going to have very large hail. Golf ball to baseball sized hail is also very possible with this storm. Originally, we thought today was going to be just a hail threat, and things have transitioned a little bit deeper towards a tornado threat as well as a large hail threat.
Yep.
When you talk about individual cells cells, that's when we're talking about the tornado threat along with the hail threat, especially if you get localized areas of rotation. And when we're talking about a warm front, that's exactly what you get.
Definitely. So that's where you're going to have to watch, especially that Mount Pine area. That's where that significant hail is going to be moving through. As a matter of fact, it's going to go right over Highway 227 here in about a few minutes from now. But Hot Springs, and you can see now, here's some good news. There is some indication that the inflow notch may be trying to get impeded a little bit. Look at it, it's trying to close off. However, I still would not let your guard down. You still need to take your tornado precautions immediately, especially if you know anyone in downtown Hot Springs. Derek, by the way, your camera's on now, so you're set and ready to go. But as I mentioned before, we're going to have to watch that closely as it's continuing to move off towards the east here. But I would say any interest, Lake Hamilton, Hot Springs, Lonsdale, Haskell, Benton, and Trashwood. You're outside of the tornado warning right now. Remember what Derek just said. We're going to have to watch this over the next couple of hours. So that means any interest along Interstate 30, that's Benton, Haskell, Trashwood, Bryant, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. As a matter of fact, Derek, I know you have a coworker that works there, that lives there. You already got him?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to have to watch closely as we continue to monitor this storm to the east here.
Let's go to our gate
to gate.
To get sheer view.
Yes, sir.
Because indicating very strong low level
It's going to be
rotation
right in here.
just to the southwest of Piney. This is literally maybe 2 or 3 miles. If you live in Piney, you need to be in your safe place right now.
Yep.
Again, if you live in Piney,
in between
right
in here.
Piney and Rockwell.
Yep.
You need, so basically the split
Right there.
The split of 70 and 270, very strong low level rotation with this storm. And let's pull up a couple streets.
I was
going to
say I'd put it right there on Timberlane Drive over here. Also, we've got Timberlane Road, Charlie Stover Road over here as well. This is all south of Highway 270 at this point. Also, listen, before that's Timberlake Road and stuff like that. Let's see, it's going to go towards North Ferry Road, and it's going to go towards Piney. It may track just south of Piney, but I wouldn't risk it. This could easily be a tornado trying to get going just south of 270 at this time. And there's newest update. I mean, there it is right there, right over Piney at this point. So Hot Springs, you need to be in shelter now. You need to be in shelter immediately. Even if this goes on the north side of town, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. I cannot stress that enough. But if this does start to turn to the northeast area,
this is going to have the metro.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch the metro close with this
including
one,
us here at the Weather Center as well. So once again, folks, if you live, latest scan.
Let me put a track on it real quick.
All right, so latest scan has lost a lot of the rotation on the storm. That's a good thing. It just shifted just to the north of Piney.
Yeah.
However, again, if this storm is is on that front. If it moves a little bit north of that front, it's going to lose it. If it roots again to the south of the front, that's when it's going to increase. These storms also cycle. So once again, there's very strong rotation within this storm.
Yep.
As it roots with the boundary layer, that means the threat of a tornado goes up.
Mm-hmm.
If it shifts a little bit north of that front, it's going to become elevated. Therefore, your tornado goes down.
Yeah, new severe thunderstorm warning just got issued for it. So we got new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued. It's going to go for almost 2-inch in diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds with this storm as it continues to move on towards the east at about 60 miles per hour here. So I've got it for Hot Springs. Hot Springs is going to be on top of you within the next 5 minutes. You need to be in shelter now. You should have been in shelter when a warning first got issued. But you need to be in shelter immediately. Piney, it's on top of you right now. Lonsdale, you have about roughly 15 minutes. I'll give you that. You need to be seeking shelter now. Salem, Benton, also towards Bauxite, Bryant, Alexander, and also Shannon Hills. You have roughly, I give you 30 minutes, if that, because it's moving at 60 miles per hour, which will be a mile per minute. So you need to be taking your tornado precautions. I mean, just because you're not outside of the tornado warning doesn't mean you're not going to see anything. I do believe they dropped the tornado warning over here. I think they just let it go. Let me double check that, make sure real quickly here. So yeah, the tornado warning has been canceled. over here. So the tornado threat has continued to diminish. What we're going to do for just a little bit, Dick, let's stay on this storm.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and just stay on the storm for just a little bit. I'm still seeing some evidence of rotation just to the southwest of Hot Springs here. So I'm gonna let that go away first before I hop off of here real quickly here. But it's going right over Hot Springs as of right now. I'm gonna switch this over to our reflectivity real quickly here. So Mount Pine, you're getting a hailstorm right now and nothing more. Hailstorm, significant wind, probably 60 to 70 mile per hour winds on the north side of this. Lake Hamilton and Hot Springs, it is quiet as a bell right now. There's not any rainfall going on or anything like that. The tornado warning has been dropped. However, what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to remain in shelter. If you're in Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton, the Lonsdale area, stay in shelter. Let this storm pass because it does have a history of trying to produce a tornado. So just stay where you are. Don't get out of shelter just because the tornado warning was dropped. You need to be seeking shelter immediately. Stay where you are. Let this pass. Because regardless of the tornado threat, you still got to deal with the significant hail and the wind threat. So stay where you are, stay in your safe place where you are right now. Let this storm pass over you, and then you should be good to go. But Lonsdale, Salem, Benton, Traskwood, areas north of 270 at this point along Interstate 30, continue to monitor the progression of this storm. Regardless of the tornado potential, it will produce significant hail and also the potential damaging winds here. So make sure that you're staying safe out there, folks. So go ahead. What are you seeing on your side?
The biggest thing is, keep in mind this storm is going to pulse up and pulse down throughout the evening hours, and the later we go into the evening, the shear will only increase with time. Now keep this in mind. Our main system, as we talked about last night, is still to the west of the state, so therefore you don't have the helicity, the shear that you're going to have tomorrow. This time tomorrow, this radar is going to look vastly different, and there's probably going to be a ton of red boxes on the radar.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a long day.
In the same areas that we're looking at right now. Again, that being said, don't let your guard down. This storm is moving into a very favorable environment for severe weather, capable of large hail and tornadoes this evening.
I was going to say, matter of fact, I'll do this. So this is the product that you guys see like all the time. This is what we call the storm fuel product here, and you can see it's kind of riding on what we call the Cape gradient, which great call by the National Weather Service and Little Rock to go toll warn with this, because whenever we have those storms right on the Cape gradient, those are the ones that typically produce. So it was a great call for them going toll warn. We're still going to monitor the progression because you can still see the signature, still indicative of potentially producing a tornado. We're going to watch it closely at this point here. But you can see the better instability is to the south. However, don't let your guard down with that. It's riding along what we call a Cape gradient. We're going to have to keep an eye on this storm here. But I will say overall, there is what we call a surface inversion in place, which is helping to keep this severe threat from getting out of control. And I told a couple of guys, especially on Discord, we've been talking about it with our team. Tonight's event is going to dictate tomorrow's. If you do not see a lot of widespread activity tonight, then what's going to happen is you're going to have to watch tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a very long day for us here, especially from central Arkansas to south Arkansas. North Arkansas, as of now, you look to be bailed out by heavy rainfall, but don't bank on that. All it takes is this one front to move to the north, and then you start talking about the potential of seeing significant severe weather, and taking a wording out from the National Weather Service in Little Rock, potentially strong to violent tornadoes will be possible tomorrow here. So it's going to be a long day tomorrow. So
let's go back to velocity view. The storm has now come over the Hot Springs Mountains. And the rotation has picked up once again.
Bit time. Yep, I see it right there.
So again, if you live in Hot Springs, again, this is just a thunderstorm warning. You still need to be taking those tornado precautions just in case significant
it's right there. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes warning again.
Is really back. And once again, looking at the rotation on this storm just continues to increase once again now that it's back over the mountains. And again, this is coming off the Hot Springs Mountain. It's now coming into the valley. So this is going to be interesting to see how exactly this plays out as it continues to move east along Highway 70 and 270 towards Magnet Cove, towards Lonsdale, towards Benton, Bryan, Haskell, Traskwood, possibly towards the metro over the next hour or so. Again, this storm is moving to the east about 55 miles per hour.
I'd clock it about 60 just to round it up. Maybe about 60 miles per hour, which would be basically a mile per minute.
Right.
So That's going to be right over the Hot Springs area. And I definitely would watch this if you're in Lonsdale. Based off that area of rotation, Derek, you have another product over there. See if you're seeing any sort of debris being indicated. I'm going to take a look on my side.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Okay, awesome. So we're going to have to watch the situation pretty closely at this time. Let me double check and make sure that we're still good to go.
We're getting a wall cloud over Lake Hamilton right now.
Okay.
And so that's that's just over the same area.
It's going to be right here. It's gonna be where was that location? So right over Lake Hamilton. I'm on the Albert Pike, which is just to the southeast of me, heading into downtown. So
that's exactly what
it's gonna be. It's gonna be right there. There's the wall cloud right there. And now, as soon as that was said, the area of rotation has died off. So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna pulse up or pulse down. This is what these storms do in this type of environment. Like I said before, you have that surface inversion in place. It's your best friend right now, because had this been tomorrow, this would have probably been on the ground, to be honest with you, because you won't have a surface inversion in place or anything like that. So right now, as I said before, we're still going to continue to monitor the progression of this storm. As I mentioned before, the storm is going to continue to move out towards the east at about 60 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour is a mile per minute. So Lonsdale, Benton, Bryant, Haskell, regardless of the tornado potential, you need to watch out for that hail threat. And I'm going to show you guys this too. This is a product. Derek, you may see the same thing over there on your side as well. The hail size with this here. Now, right over Hot Springs, let me see if I can get a newer run, a scan of this. This is going to be right over Hot Springs. I'm getting indicative of hail, and keep in mind, this is radar indicated. This is not like confirmed hail fall into the sky, because it does melt before it hits the surface. But we're talking 1 to 2 inch hail over here. 2 inch hail will hurt if it hits you, by the way. So right through here, this is where you're going to have that hail potential right there, just north and east of Piney, just west and northwest of Hot Springs, south and east of Mount Pine, and north of Lake Hamilton at this point, into the west of Lonsdale, and also it's north of 270, west of Highway 7, and west of Highway 70 at this time, and it's going to continue to move to the east here. So this hail core, I've got a track, actually, I'm glad I pulled this up. It's got a hail track basically right through here. So Hot Springs is going to be on top of you here basically right now. And then Lonsdale, 639. Benton, about 650. I'm going to put you about 650 in Benton. And then the Salem and the Bauxite area, we're talking right around the top of the hour. And then Alexandria and then the Shannon Hills area, we're talking just a little bit after the top of the hour here. And this is the newest scan of that hail. And there it is right there. 3-inch in diameter hail just north of Highway 70 at this time, and just to the south and east of Highway 7. That is going to do some damage, folks. Obviously, this is going to melt. Obviously, the radar picks up the hail, and it does melt a little bit as it comes down to the surface. So roughly, you're talking 1.5 to 2 inch in diameter hail, which will still hurt coming down to the surface here and hitting you. So make sure that you can get your cars into the garages and try not to travel right now. I know that's kind of a moot point with it being 6 o'clock and rush hour, but if you're out traveling, just make sure that you can get somewhere like under one of those gas station roofs and stuff like that. That way it protects you from the potential of large hail this time. Derek, what are you seeing over there on your side?
So basically, SPC just mentioned our severe threat does continue across the watch area. The storm in Garden County has actually moved north of the warm front now and into a stable layer. Our warm front continues to kind of nudge to the south. It's currently positioned from Malvern to Sheridan to Pine Bluff up to Memphis. So, and that's going to be key, because that's something we're going to have to watch for tomorrow. It was rooted on the warm front whenever it went warm. The cluster SPC mentioned coming out of Pike County is one we're going to have to start watching now.
This one down here.
Yes.
This one down here. That's what you're going to have to watch.
So again, the biggest thing is that tonight's tornado potential is not as significant as what tomorrow's is going to be. But again, where that front sets up is where that threat will exist to it from it and south.
Definitely.
I do think for the time being we can break away. Again,
it's north of the warm front, so no torn threat with it. So I'm pretty confident in breaking away. So we're good.
We're going to be in and out all night long. Coverage continues. Radar updates will continue.
Definitely.
Again, we will keep you updated all night long right here on your source
for all things Arkansas weather.